All right, buddy. Welcome back to Ox Talks. Thanks for watching the show today. Appreciate you guys taking the time and supporting the channel. Been several days since I did a video. Just got absolutely slammed with new work here in the office since like last Friday morning, Valentine's Day. It was just nonstop. Crank throughout the weekend. Had some family events. So anyway. Back in full speed here at the office, now playing catch up. It's funny, leave your comments below. When you own your own business, if you're prudent, you never, let's say, expect, and you never can count on that phone ringing. You can never count on that next client walking in the door. As soon as you get complacent and believe that the gravy train is never going to end, it does. It's funny, almost 30 years now. I think this is my 30th year. It'll be 30 years in December operating this law practice. Every year, certain times of the year, I get concerned because the phones get quiet. I tell my wife, here we go. This is the year no one's going to call. Nobody needs my legal services anymore. And sure enough, it just comes full speed. So anyway, very fortunate, very blessed, but been very busy as well. The topic today is, I've been thinking about it, contemplating on it. It's very serious. And we all know, if you're paying attention to what's going on with the current administration, that there are major inroads, being forged and actions taking place in Washington, D.C. right now. Whether you agree with it, disagree with it, I don't care. And that's not the point of the video. But these things are happening now in Washington geared towards cutting federal spending, towards getting the rampant debt out of control, federal debt under control to the extent possible in terms of outgoing expenditures, and in terms of getting in a situation where the government can actually start maybe hacking away at its $36 trillion of debt right now. But it all starts obviously with reforming certain agencies, auditing certain agencies. Again, this is not meant to be a political video. I'm just saying that's what's happening, okay? And I think from this, you will probably see certain let's say tax benefits. You'll probably see certain benefits come to small business. You'll see a climate probably evolve from this, which will be a healthier climate for people and for business. If, and the operative word is if, and that's the topic for today, if people on their personal side have their SHIT in order. And what I mean by that is, do you have your debt under control? Do you have your spending habits under control? If you do not, you're going to get left behind. And this is the problem, is we can't really, from my perspective, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and your input. We can't begin to heal this country and get the lower and middle class back onto a path of prosperity. Now, granted, it helps by not straddling them with hundreds of thousands of dollars of federal debt per person in this country. But what I'm talking about here is personal responsibility. And, the middle class and lower class have got to come along for the prosperity. But if they are really seriously hamstringed by debt and defaults and a bad credit score, they're never going to get ahead, regardless of what reformations and changes are taking place at the government level to try to get some of this stuff under control, okay? The article I saw today that made me think about this is that we're just, it is a, let's say, worthless cause if we cannot start to teach people in this country how to stop taking on debt they shouldn't be taking on, how to pay off and get out of debt that they're already in. And look, I understand there are circumstances where people have to take on debt because, let's say, for example, the cost of things, as we all know, is exceeding their income, okay? And they're in the negative. So what do? They have to go and use whatever means available to them to put food on the table for their families, put gasoline in their vehicles, pay their medical insurance. I get it. If that means tapping credit lines, if that means using credit cards, if that means buy now, pay later, I understand there's a lot of that going on. But there is also a massive amount more going on that deals with and is the result of simply abusive spending, abusive debt practices by people, individuals, and families in the United States, okay? Loading up on a bunch of junk from China, junk jewelry from shopping channels, junk, whatever it is, auto stuff, who knows? You guys, you name it, right? That they don't need, and it's simply, and they're paying 25, 28% on a credit card because they're not able to buy it outright. So anyway, I think hopefully you get what I'm talking about here. But there has to be a healing at the level of the lower and middle class if this is going to work, if the game plan is going to be successful from the federal level, right, all the way down. So the story I saw today is out of Fox Business. Americans, and I've discussed this topic a lot on the show, but I'm going to keep bringing it home because it is a cancer in this society. The debt, the credit card debt, the buy now, pay later stuff, the auto debt, the student loan debt is literally off the charts. Article says Americans' credit card and household debt reach all-time high. Says Americans' household debt levels, including credit card debt, rose to new all-time highs in the fourth quarter of 2024, according to a report by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The report showed that overall household debt increased by $93 billion to $18.04 trillion at the end of 2024. That's an all-time high. Credit card balances rose by $45 billion from the prior quarter. To reach $1.21 trillion at the end of September, which is also a record high. Delinquency rates ticked higher by 0.1 percentage points from the prior quarter to 3.6% of outstanding debt in some stage of delinquency, with delinquency transition rates steady for nearly all types of debt except for credit cards, which had a small uptick, it says, in transitions from current to delinquent. Serious delinquency, defined as 90 days or more past due, moved higher. For auto loans, for auto loans, credit cards, and HELOC balances, but was stable for mortgages. So listen to this again. I'll repeat it because I screwed up the cadence there. Serious delinquency, that's something that's defined as 90 days or more past due, moved higher for auto loans, credit cards, and home equity lines of credit balances. Guys, do you understand what that means if you go 90 days, if you're 90 days late on an obligation, the reality, number one, is you're probably not going to catch it up. And what it's done to your credit score is almost irreparable. You go 90 days late, talk to any, financial advisor, bankruptcy lawyer, credit repair specialist. That's almost as bad as a bankruptcy or foreclosure on your record. So these people are almost too far gone, at least for any kind of medium-term financial health, let's say in a situation where they can take advantage of opportunities presented to them. They are basically screwed. I know that sounds negative. It's glass is half empty, but I'm just reading you these statistics, which is really, really disturbing. Again, HELOCs, that's home equity line of credit. Those people have taken a loan against their family home to go pay for a vacation or buy a toy hauler or an SUV or, an ATV or whatever it is that they thought they needed, and now they've gone delinquent. You know what happens if you go delinquent on the HELOC? Eventually, that lender will foreclose on your house. Okay, now they will take subject to the first deed of trust if you have an existing mortgage. But but they will take title to your house. They will own your home because you stupidly went out and financed stuff using your house as a piggy bank, and then you were unable to make the payment. Okay? New York Fed noted while report shows Americans are generally faring well in terms of managing their household debt, there are signs that rising prices and elevated interest rates are causing issues for some auto loan borrowers. When they say managing debt, it just means a lot of them are keeping the balls in the air. The ones that are 90 days late, I just talked about, they're not managing their debt well. The ones that are 30 days late, 60 days late, they're not managing their debt well at all, okay? Overall, consumers are in pretty good shape in terms of the household debt landscape. Really. We just started the article by saying everything is at an all-time high. So how in the heck does that translate to consumers are in pretty good shape? You have to scratch your head when you read this stuff. But again, the powers that be want to keep people debt slaves. They want to keep people from getting ahead. How do they do it? They shove credit cards into your face. They shove buy now, pay later into your face. Oh, go ahead and buy this. Pay it, over 5 pay or whatever. 0% interest. Go ahead and apply for this credit card. We'll give you, some credit, free credit, or free spending power. Whatever it is, you guys understand what I'm talking about. This is the pattern that has to change. And guys, it's got to change at a grassroots level. I know I'm going long today, but grassroots level with you and I hope that if you know people, maybe you're financially healthy, you're set, you've made good decisions, you're retired, maybe you're not retired, but you have assets and good credit and low debt, but you've got, let's say, family or brother or sister or even a parent, or a son or daughter that is not practicing smart financial decision making and spending habits. Please do everything you can to work with them and educate them. It's about education, and a lot of people don't understand the real world consequences of this stuff and how long this stuff follows you around. Auto loans, higher car prices combining with higher interest rates have driven monthly payments upward and have put pressure on consumers across the income and credit spectrum. This article wrote, the episode of rapidly rising car prices has had impacts on borrowers who have shifted between used and new cars, as well as loans and leases. Yeah, a lot of them are going to leases, and a lot of them are taking on obligations far more per month than they should be taking on given their income, right? And again, these car loan places they're approving people, okay, but they charge you higher rates. End of the day, they know full well that they're going to be hooking up that car to a tow truck on a repo and dragging it out of your garage at some point down the road when you can't make the payments. Okay, they're just trying to move these vehicles off the lots. And then what happens from there, right? It's not their problem anymore. All right, the article keeps going on, but I wanted to just address that point with you. Credit card default sort of highest level in 14 years. So we have the credit debt at all-time highs, but also defaults at 14-year highs as well. So guys, I hope you found the content helpful, because we need to be thinking about this in terms of what's happening at the government level right now and what's happening at the personal level. And the lower middle class, if they cannot participate in this next boom, okay, now granted, there's going to be a crash from my perspective. I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert, but the economy has major problems. But there is going to be a business cycle opportunity, okay? And maybe it's just starting now, and maybe it's going to be fueled by the current administration. Again, I don't know. Leave your comments below and your input. But everybody has to be prepared in their own way to take advantage of it. If not, they're getting left behind, okay? And you understand that the powers that be, the money changers, that's where they want all of you guys and all of us, right? So we have to break this mold, break this vicious cycle. Leave it there today. Appreciate you guys. Don't neglect those workouts. Get those steps in. Hopefully this week I'll be back on a more regular basis with shows and content. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.